confirming that information now. We are there at the City Council chamber, so good place to confirm that information. But they are calling this an active shooter incident, and now apparently appears to have been a mass shooting.
And you understand, too, that this all started about 8:03 this morning. Midland Police first on the scene, and then you had other law enforcement agencies begin to come in at that point, followed by the amount of the presence you see out there if you've been along that particular area or by our coverage, the amount of law enforcement been out there, not just from Midland, but also from Odessa and all across West Texas helping out.
It has been a large incident of a lot of multi-agency cooperation. This does include out of Lubbock, our sister station KCBD confirming that the Lubbock County SWAT has been deployed along with the Lubbock County Sheriff's Office, all of them in responding to a call of help from Midland Police as they continue to try and contain as many parts of this as well. And they do lean on multiple agencies to do so because, you know, there's a lot of areas, of course, to cover in this spot. If we don't know where exactly this is still happening, 4600 block is what we've gotten. We're working on a specific location still at this hour.
Yeah, and of course, keep in mind, until we hear that it is all clear, this is still active. She did say contained or detained, but we don't know what that means. And at this time, you can see they are still blocking off streets, or at least we're looking at an image here. We can show that if you want to. This is from Telemundo 20, showing the images there along, this would be along Business 20 or Wall Street. Patsy Costas there, we apologize. She is using that as her live shot to get up to date as well for Telemundo 20. So if we can come back from that, we do know that it's still active at the hospital. Isabella Garriga was there at the hospital, in fact, and was talking with one gentleman who said he had been shot in the arm. We do know again that 11 were shot. One is confirmed dead at the scene, and it is still an active area.
Yes. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. We have another angle, another vantage point here. That is a large police presence. I can see just from here, Jay, multiple agencies. It looks like apparently the Ector County Sheriff's Office, Midland Police, multiple departments, Odessa Police, DPS, all on scene here. And if I'm not mistaken, if we can get that pulled up into aux 1, that would be helpful on that end as well. That appears to be, so that is J Business 20 and Eisenhower.
Okay.
That intersection there.
Okay, so that is about 4600. East Wall.
East Wall, yes.
And so that would be exactly where this was taking place. And so again, this is still active. As you can see, they've got that entire area blocked off. A lot of agencies there who came in to help with this situation. Sadly, they were needed today. Again, confirming from the city of Midland, 11 people shot, 1 dead. They say this is active still. They are asking you to avoid the area. Again, they are working with, if they're asking you to work with United Way if you want to do any donations, because people have already tried to reach out. They talked about the blood banks. You mentioned that as well, Matthew, that a lot of people want to try to help out in any way. Again, Lori Blanc saying he's either contained or detained, but as you can see, it's still active and still blocked off. Doesn't appear to be as frantic, perhaps, as it was before. So maybe that is a sign that perhaps this has been
Good morning. I am Robbie Owens in for Karen Border. We begin with breaking news out of Midland, Texas. Our Ken Molestina is in the newsroom with what we know right now. Ken?
Yeah, we're talking about an active shooter situation. Robbie, just getting this information into our newsroom right now. The city's mayor has just confirmed that there are 11 victims. They're saying that one of those victims is dead. We don't know the conditions of the others. Midland, of course, is about a 5-hour drive west of Fort Worth on I-20. You've got some new video that we are getting into the newsroom right now from the scene. It shows multiple police and law enforcement units, including SWAT teams, surrounding the Victorian Inn, where it's believed that a suspect is barricaded inside. The city's mayor says that they do have the situation contained, but they have no confirmed details about the suspect or the victims. Those are details that were given to us just a couple of minutes ago. The mayor did say that they got the first call sometime at about 8:03, shortly after 8 o'clock in the morning. That came out of the southeast area of Midland, and then calls started coming in across South Midland, where a standoff again is currently underway. So this is sort of a moving situation. Have a listen.
I want to make sure that you understand that this is all hands on deck. All of our community responders are participating in addressing the situation right now, and we're committed to staying in that shape until we have everything addressed and fully wrapped up.
We do know that a family reunification center right now has been established over at Midland Memorial Hospital. But Robbie, one of the things that we keep hearing folks out there say over and over is that this is still very much an active situation and it is still very fluid. So we are standing by waiting to get new details. And just as soon as we get those, we'll get them over to you, Robbie.
All right. Thank you so much, Ken. As Ken was just saying, we are working to learn more about this situation. That includes the number of casualties and the motive behind this shooting. Of course, stay with us. We will update you on air and online at cbsnewstexas.com. Meanwhile, it is a global phenomenon that North Texas has been preparing for years, and festivities.
With unfortunate news in that 11 people have been a part of this. They're victims of this, and one is confirmed dead, and notably on scene, she said.
Yeah, and certainly not the way they wanted to spend their Friday. Sadly, that Midland, Odessa once again thrust into this. You know, we had the other one back in 2019, and here we are again, and that's a sad situation. We don't know also if this is related to the situation from yesterday. We don't know if this is the same person. That will be a key fact to see who this particular person was, is, and get any information we can on that.
And they were very hesitant about discussing getting into the suspect yet because they don't know just yet.
Right.
We're still, I'm sure the police on scene have information, but it's not ready to be disseminated to the public like we've talked about. And yes, it is unfortunate to be in this position again because unfortunately it is, you know, what we were unfortunately thinking it was. It's active shooter with 11 victims in Midland this morning. It's tragic news at 11 this morning. A busy Friday morning turned tragic there in West Midland, and it's still an active situation. This is not done yet. It is contained, which is good news. It's in one single location, surrounded with what Mayor Larry Blanc called a perimeter that has been established, and we can see that perimeter well established with multiple agencies, including the Ector County Sheriff's Office, DPS, Midland Police, Midland Sheriff's Office, and even the Lubbock County Sheriff's Office and SWAT team now going to Midland to be able to support the efforts in possibly negotiating with this suspect that remains holed up this morning.
You would think, though, by the demeanor of these folks you're seeing on camera right now, they appear to be talking and appear to be calm, not in any kind of stressful situation. So perhaps that was what Mayor Lori Blanc saying, that this was either contained or that this person was detained. And of course, we'll get more information, hopefully, on that.
Just got an update from the Texas Department of Transportation, All lanes of Business 20 from Thomason to Loop 250, including the north and south frontage roads, which are on the sides of Wall Street there, closed due to law enforcement investigation. We can see that clearly on your screen now. At this time, there's no estimated time for reopening. Avoid the area this morning. Yeah,
seek alternate routes, and they'll share more information, obviously, as it becomes available. So a good update there from them. And so, again, there's still some questions that need to be answered, and we'll get those, I'm sure, as we move on.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
Tasa just sent another one. Okay, we'll pull. I think you read that one,
in
did you not?
preparation, Isabella is ready to go. In preparation for that, we'll go to her in just
Here's
a
an
moment.
update. Midland Memorial Hospital has received 9 victims from the active shooter incident. 4 are in the operating room and 5 are stable. That is the update from Midland Memorial Hospital. Again, they received 9 victims from the active shooter situation. 4 are in the operating room and 5 are stable. So that is the update from Tasa Richardson with Midland Memorial Hospital. So that kind of spells out what we are learning.
Okay, absolutely. We're going to work on getting those images from Midland Memorial Hospital. Isabella Griega working hard to get us the information. Isabella, we have her on phone. We will get to you in just a second. We're going to get it set up. In the meantime, though, we're still working with these images that we have here from Eisenhower, Business 20. A huge perimeter has been set up here. Officers, deputies in tactical gear, the troopers as well. The latest information, though, from Midland Memorial Hospital, they are treating 9 victims out of the 11 that we've been told about. One of those was killed, so 10 still under treatment, 4 in the operating room, 5 are stable. We're not sure where the other one extra one is to line up with the City of Midland's information.
Well, remember, she talked to the one guy who said he was shot in the arm and was walking around.
That's true.
So perhaps he was just treating release. So that may be the one where
Very good point indeed, of course. And we're going to check in with Isabella Griega just shortly here as we recap that this situation is still unfolding as we speak right now. 11:05 this morning on this Friday, June 12th, as that suspect remains holed up in a building, a room somewhere along 4600 West Wall. Still trying to nail down exactly where, but they do have a perimeter surrounded, calling it contained.
Yeah, we'll be watching, of course, social media. We want to check with certainly Midland Police Department. we'll keep up to date with that and see exactly when or if they're going to release information on if this is contained or not. You would assume by the demeanor we saw with those folks who were on the scene that this may be a calmed down situation now, but we don't have official word on that yet.
Not just yet.
We know they're still there.
Absolutely. Do we have Isabella
Yeah,
yet
she's right
in
there.
production?
Yes.
She's ready on our end. Let's go to Isabella Garriga now with an update. Isabella, what are you hearing?
Hi there, Matthew and Jay. Right now, again, that latest update is, if you are just joining us, Midland Memorial Hospital has received 9 victims from the active shooter incident. Now 4 are on the operating table and 5 are stable at this moment. From what I've been seeing, we're about as close as we can get, and from what I've been seeing, more law enforcement agencies are joining. We've had 2 tow trucks going in. Luke is going to show you the scene here right now. Again, we're about as close as we can get. We have a helicopter on the pad here. And I did want to make a clarification that the Unification Center, for if people are worried about their family members and their loved ones, you will meet in the cafeteria. Okay. That is the latest update that we have. We have Midland Memorial personnel with us right now, so we're getting the latest updates as you get them. I'm going to read that press release that they sent around 10:30, just to have that information out there. At approximately 8:20 in the morning, Midland Memorial Hospital went on lockdown due to an active shooter event in Midland. At 10:10, Midland Memorial Hospital lifted the lockdown for the main campus. However, the emergency department remained locked until further notice. MMH has established a reunification for victims and families. Again, that is going to be that new correction. It's in the cafeteria, and people can enter through the main doors, and you will be directed as needed. Now, please avoid that hospital if you are not in need of an emergency, or if you are not looking for a family member or worried for a family member. And of course, this is still an active situation. As you said, Jay, it does seem to be calming down a little bit at this point, but everyone should stay safe and stay as far away as you can from any of these areas that we've reported for you to stay away from. But back to you guys in the studio, and thank you.
All right, Isabella, thanks very much. Again, as you were hearing, 9 victims at the hospital. You heard 4 in surgery, 5 stable, and she did talk to one who, again, we saw him, I believe,
yes,
walking around the parking lot as well, who appeared to be bandaged up, but was walking. So that may be the other one, because that would then count out the 11 people if we're following their numbers.
Absolutely, and still following also that vehicle we saw earlier in the morning. I'll have to look back and see if I can get a snippet of that photo of that truck that was shot out.
Had the window shot out.
Yeah, so that likely appears to be
could have been the one shot in the arm.
Yeah, so we're not sure. We're still working to put all that together as well. But I want to remind you again, the scene is very active. We can go back and show you that now. That's the live imagery of where this is all happening along Business 20 and Eisenhower here. And again, this is the 4600 block of Wall Street in Midland of West Wall, towards the not the interstate, excuse me, the Loop 250 between there and Eisenhower, and all the way up to Midland Drive has now been closed off. And they were saying to specifically avoid the area of Fasken in Business 20, which helps us get an idea of where they're working with here, that side road there off of the Business 20 itself. Yeah,
Mayor Lori Blanc, of course, saying during her news conference, contained or detained. And so, yes, but you can tell by the demeanor, too, of those law enforcement agencies that they are seem to be calmed down a bit. So maybe perhaps that this is coming to a conclusion. We can only hope for the best. We hope that there's not anything more related to this. But as you see, they are still there and still have that road blocked off.
Absolutely. And I believe we have Lauren Munt. If Lauren can hear me. Lauren, let us know what you're seeing out there. We can see a heavy police presence behind you. We know that, of course, it's Eisenhower. What have you been seeing out there? If you can hear me, give us the latest updates.
For a more clear shot of this investigation and what is going on, we're seeing several law enforcement agencies from across. I know we had mentioned when we were on the other side that we could see them kind of going and landing here, but now we're really seeing all of them here all at once kind of in this area as they continue to block off the scene and investigate this very active situation. As you guys heard, several victims, one confirmed dead. I'm going to step out of frame here just so you guys can see, and we can zoom in a little bit more. and see what is going on in this, again, very active scenes. Law enforcement agencies from all across the area. Again, we're here in the parking lot of the Victorian Inn, which you might remember was where we kind of originally were reporting where the shooter was. Again, that was told to us by an officer on the other side of the scene. We can confirm that is not where the shooter is. He is not at the Victorian Inn. He's just down the road there. It was just what we were originally told by an officer on scene. But as we continue to kind of learn a little bit more about this developing horrible situation here in Midland County, we're looking there again at all of those officers, an ambulance over there. We are helicopter kind of coming just above us right now. That is a DPS helicopter. There's another DPS helicopter just over the way. We've seen 2 of them so far. They've been circling the area for over an hour now as they continue with this developing scene. We've also been told that there's more law enforcement agencies from surrounding counties on the way. Just a horrific, tragic event that happened here in Midland. All of our law enforcement agencies, all of our officers, all of our first responders here on scene, continuing to protect the community and trying to protect the community even more after this situation that unfolded. I really, genuinely, Jay and Matthew don't have any other words to say other than we've been standing here with people who heard those gunshots. Horrible, traumatic event for them. When they were speaking to me earlier, saying that they just couldn't believe how many shots that they heard. Several of them shutting down businesses for the day, everyone going home as they're just in shock over this horrible event that happened here in Midland. We'll go ahead and keep you guys here on this shot, zoom out a little bit more so you guys can see. We've got police tape just to the left of us here that I'm going to try and move the camera for you guys to see. Police tape right there. That's just, maybe 100 yards from where we are here on West Wall Street in the parking lot of the Victorian Inn. As the helicopters continue to circle around us and we work to learn more for you guys on what is going on in this horrible situation. We'll go ahead and send it back to you guys in studio as we continue to learn more about this.
Okay, Lauren, as you can tell, this is still an evolving situation. Very active. Police are still trying to determine how the best course of action here. They're working with multiple agencies all the way up from Lubbock coming to help with this.
Yeah, and as you can see, they have not cleared that area. It is still active. You hear the helicopters that are still flying around. This is still being treated as an active situation. And so we are learning more about it. As we heard from the news conference, again, 11 people shot. We have been told that 1 is confirmed dead. The others, there were some in surgery. There were also some being treated and several that were stable. We were also trying to follow up. We had received word that the OA had confirmed that 1 person was at MCH. We are trying to confirm that, see if we can get that information.
It's still very fluid. Again, 11 victims, at least 1 killed in this incident. Mayor Lori Blunt pointing out that person died on scene.
Right.
The scene, of course, we're still trying to, it's on the 4600 block of West Wall Street. You see it surrounded by multiple law enforcement agencies across the board. And so just to reiterate, this shooter has now holed himself up into a building of some sort there along Wall Street, and police are now trying to actively work to get him out or neutralize the threat.
And we're not sure if they have, because remember, Lori Blanc said contained or detained.
Or detained, yes.
So it's possible this is just wrapping up and they are just closing up the scene and that kind of thing. So as we get more information, we'll continue to look at social media and get updates. Many of you have been reaching out to us as well with information you have heard, and until we get that confirmed, we cannot pass that along, but we are working to do that. So thank you for sending your information in, and we are looking at that.
Absolutely. And of course, any information you do give, make sure you do so safely. Of course, we want you to stay away from this perimeter they have set up, which is from West Loop 250 at Business 20 all the way down to Midland Drive and likely even almost up to Midkiff at this point. But they want you to avoid specifically the area of Faskin Drive and Business 20. This entire area going to be under investigation for quite some time. The entirety of Business 20 is just full of law enforcement, DPS chopper circling overhead. And again, just to recap, this mass shooting involving 11 victims, 1 dead, and we've heard multiple are now as Isabella Grigg reported, at Midland Memorial Hospital being treated.
Yeah, and so we will get further updates as we get more information. We've also had some video sent in of cars that are being towed away from the hospital, and we'll try to get that to you as well. Again, we're trying to follow down some of the leads that many of you called us in, and we appreciate all of your efforts in trying to send us messages, and we are working to get those confirmed. Again, still active. This has not been wrapped up by any official source yet, and so we will continue to bring you coverage here and get you up to date on what we know about it. We know we're recapping a lot, but we want to remind you because you may be popping in and out, and so we don't want to make sure that folks miss any of the information that has been passed out so far.
And speaking of earlier in our broadcast, within the last hour or so, we got video from a viewer of shots being fired when this situation was unfolding a bit earlier. If we have that production, if we can bring that video back up to be able to hear those shots being fired off a bit earlier from viewer video. Let's take a listen to that if we have it ready to go from a bit earlier in our show. You can hear some of the noise. Let's listen.
Okay. A lot of shots.
Damn! And you can hear back to back non-stop, and you can see we are looking at the same area where our camera is currently sitting at right now. You can see those light poles. It's the same area. You can see some of the businesses that you know to be along Business 20 there. We will have other visuals, other perspectives as well as we continue to follow this story. We have crews located across the entirety of Midland right now, from the hospital, City Council. Telemundo 20 is there on scene alongside our Lauren Munt, who's also been on scene for hours now. But again, as we approach the bottom of the 11 o'clock hour, there's a lot going on and a lot of questions still to be answered, although city leaders in the last hour have given a lot of answers to those questions, and it's not exactly what we want to hear, not at all, is that 11 victims have now been part of this mass shooting incident that is still underway. As the suspect, the alleged shooter in this incident, has now hauled himself up. He's in a standoff situation with police at this very moment in time there along the 4600 block of West Wall Street in Midland. That is the best address we have. We don't know exactly what building still at this moment. And again, we're still working to figure out the clarification during the press conference, whether detained or contained. We do know the threat has been contained, as that's what we're hearing from Midland Police as well.
Okay, this is a city saying not to, we had given you a number earlier. Lori Blong, I think during her news conference, gave a number for people to get information at the Family Reunification Center. We are not going to get that back out to you. I believe that's someone's personal phone, and so they did not want that number out. So we will leave that alone, but there is a reunification center there at the hospital, and you are to go in, I believe, and go to the cafeteria, and then they're going to send you to that reunification area if you need to. Again, the information that came out of the news conference, 11 shot, as you heard. We did have one dead on the scene, and the others, there were some in surgery and some that are in recovery and are stable conditions. So as we get more information, we'll certainly pass that along.
Some of the other information we learned earlier was that the hospital was initially under a full lockdown from earlier this morning when the incident first happened up until 10:10, a bit over an hour ago. The general hospital itself has been lifted from the lockdown. However, their emergency department, as in certain trauma situations and shootings specifically, remains under a lockdown even right now as they continue to try to help some of these victims who have been taken to Midland Memorial Hospital for treatment. We're getting information on individual victims of this case where they may have not all been taken to Midland Memorial Hospital. We are working on that information as well. We will get that in the next few minutes. In the meantime, though, of course, we have crews stationed throughout. We have those live images, of course, from Midland at the scene itself. A lot of active imagery there. Let's go ahead and bring that back up if we can over at Business 20 and Eisenhower. Let's go to Business 20 there. There's all of the agencies who have now descended upon this standoff situation that remains underway now hours into this incident.
And we've told you they come from all over. You see an Odessa police cruiser pulling up there. There are DPS there. We had Odessa Fire Rescue who were there, Midland Fire Department, DPS. This is still a lot of police that are there. We assume that they are still wrapping this up. We have heard information that perhaps this has been, or the person has been contained or detained, and so we are waiting for that official information from Midland Police. We might look and see if there's an update from Midland Police. So again, we are updating from Midland Memorial Hospital that 9 victims from the active shooter incident, 4 in the operating room, 5 are stable. 1 person has been confirmed dead. Let's see. Mayor Lori Blanc said during her news conference that the suspect was contained but not in custody. So we will, of course, await that information. We are going to be checking on Midland Police on their social media page to see if there's any update. Nothing yet. What is the latest?
Nothing much still, just family reunification site with information on what you need to know. So if you do need information on someone who may be missing in your family or friends, you're able to reach out to the Family Reunification Center set up at Midland Memorial Hospital. Someone will be able to help you and direct you in the right direction here. But again, that information there at Midland Memorial Hospital, you can reach out to them for that assistance. Of course, a lot of people have now been already, the generosity of West Texans knows no bounds in the face of tragedy, especially today. And many people are wanting to donate and help as best they can. And you can do so by reaching out to the United Way, according to Midland Mayor Lori Blanc.
Okay, you're getting a closer look at some of those vehicles. A lot of them appear to be Odessa police vehicles that are there, but you see other law enforcement as well. And so this is on Business 20 or Wall Street, and that would be around the area where we were told that was the active scene. And
yes.
So they are still there at this time, keeping that scene there. And so we are waiting, obviously, official word. And so that is the situation there. I also see a SWAT vehicle there as well, so that gives you an idea of the law enforcement agencies who were there.
Absolutely. And of course, we're getting our other crews ready to go to be able to provide us the latest information and updates as we get them. Alongside Lauren Munt, Isabella Garriga, we also have Telemundo 20's Patsy Casas. She has been keeping track of the situation from her perspective, her vantage point, which, Jay, for reference, is not from here. It's actually on the opposite side of where this is all happening, in the area of Faskin, Midland Drive, and that area. That's where she is earlier. If we're ready for her just yet, let me know. We can go and toss to her.
Yeah, it looks like she's ready.
Okay.
All right, let's go to Patsy Casas, Telemundo 20. Patsy, what do you have?
Thank you for joining us. I'm Patsy Casas. We are live at the corner of Thomason and Waugh. We've been here since a little bit after 9 o'clock. We were at Medical Center, Midland Memorial Hospital this morning. And as soon that we heard, of course, that it was a very active scene, again, along West Waugh, next to these hotels that are on West Waugh in the service road, we came this area to, of course, bring you the information. We have been live for about 2 hours. Again, this is an ongoing information or ongoing situation. We did receive information on behalf of officials to let us know to stay away from this area. So if you're anybody that has to be in this area this morning, please stay away, as it is a very active scene. We also did receive information, of course, that 11 people have been injured. We also know that it is still a very active scene. One person did die, and that's the information that we did receive. Again, this morning as well, we did receive information from Tasa Richardson from Midland Memorial Hospital to tell us that this morning, briefly, Midland Memorial Hospital had been on lockdown, but then it had been lifted. Now, we do want to mention that there is only one area that if you need to go into Midland Memorial Hospital, again, has been lifted, as I said, about 10:10. However, the emergency department will remain locked down until further notice. Now, we also did receive a phone number from Mayor Lori Blanc. If you are related to any of these people that have been or that are a victim of this shooting in this area, they are asking that you call that number, which we will have that number for you from the control room. But it is only, they are stressing again, that it is only a phone number for people that are related to anybody that was hurt in this situation. Right now, we are seeing a very active scene. Again, if you're having to drive around Thomason Drive and also West Waugh, please find alternate routes, which they are directing you towards the left, going from again, Thomason Drive onto the east on West Waugh. And of course, you are not able to access any of the businesses, which is like All-American Dodge or Subaru or any of like Super 8 Hotel, Days Inn, West Wind Motel, or any of those, as this situation is ongoing. And of course, it is a very active scene. We also did see 2 helicopters flying over the area. Those are Texas Rangers helicopters. Again, we are receiving information that one person is dead. They are not telling us who this person is as of now, and of course we're waiting to see more information on as to who the person that passed away is, but also 11 people have been hurt, and again 4 are on the operation table as we speak. And again, at approximately 8:20, Midland Memorial Hospital went on lockdown due to an active shooter event in Midland. 1010 Midland Memorial Hospital had lifted the lockdown. MMH has established a family reunification for victims' families of the main campus of Midland Memorial Hospital. Family members may enter through the main entrance doors and gather in hospital area. Again, this is a very active scene. We are going to stay here on location. I am Patsy Casas with First Alert 7, and again, we are on location at Thomason and West Wall. If you have to access this area or come to any one of these businesses, please find alternate routes. Back to you in the studio.
Of course, we're continuing to get different vantage points, different perspectives of this entire scene that's unfolding and is really happening across all of Midland. Of course, this shooter himself holed up in one singular contained location.
Right.
But now the hospital's been involved because of all the victims taken to there.
Right. You did see, if you noticed when Patsy was on, there were some vehicles that were moving along too. You saw a TACMED ambulance that went through. You could see some of the fire trucks, some of the ambulances that were kind of making their way. So they may be leaving the scene at this time or beginning to wrap things up. But we are still waiting for that. And again, what we know today is that 11 people were shot, 1 dead, and there are a bunch in the hospital right now, some in surgery, some that are in stable condition. And we did, or at least Isabella Garilla spoke with one person who was outside of the hospital that said he had been shot in the arm.
Yeah, absolutely. And earlier, you may remember in our stream and our cut in here that we had video imagery of a truck that had been shot up, the windows broken out. We're getting a better vantage point now, Jay. This is in front of the Midland Memorial Hospital Emergency Room Department, and you can see the windows all shot out. It appears to be shot out here at the emergency room. I can't even imagine the situation of this truck pulling up like this, is what I'm taking away from this, and this person possibly seeking help. Of course, that's all speculation. Of course, we don't know what happened with this, but this is all taped in this lockdown emergency room at Midland Memorial Hospital not long ago.
And the particular man in the blue shirt was the one that walked up to her saying he had been shot in the arm. So he may be one of the victims or may have received a gunshot wound, but he was walking around and I believe had been discharged, I believe is what he told her. And I think they towed this vehicle away. Okay,
so this was a bit earlier. That's good news to hear in light of all of this situation. That, we have at least one person we can say has been accounted for. He seems to be okay. Walking around, of course, with officials. And as we move through the rest of the scene, of course, remember, Midland Memorial Hospital remains on lockdown like this. The emergency room, that truck may have been towed away probably for evidence as police continue their investigation.
Could have been.
And it will continue on through the rest of the day into the night, I imagine. The standoff's now been going on 3 hours at the minimum now. Taking away from Mayor Lori Blanc's press conference at about an hour ago, it was interesting saying that the situation started in southeast Midland and made its way to southwest Midland where we are now. A very interesting statement from her coming a little bit earlier.
And she just posted 9 minutes ago on Facebook. Here's the latest. Midland, I want to give you the most current information we have. There was an active shooter in the city, law enforcement establishing a perimeter. All agencies responded. She says there are 11 victims. At least one person has lost their life. This is an ongoing investigation. We cannot confirm additional details until law enforcement has completed a thorough review and all facts are established. She mentions the reunification centers. A lot of this was things that she brought up during her news conference. She said, please note that Facebook experienced an outage. We told you about that. She wraps this up by saying, my heart breaks for the victims and their families. We are praying for every person touched by today's events and for the law enforcement officers who risk their own safety to protect our community. She posted that 9 minutes ago on Facebook from Mayor Lori Blanc in Midland.
And I think we share that sentiment wholly across West Texas today. This is an absolute tragedy that has unfolded and has struck our community yet again this morning on this June 12th, 2026. But it's tough time for all those people who are involved in this.
Sure. This is something they won't forget. Again, it's too close to the one we had before in 2019, and here we are once again. And it is a sad thing that we have to deal with. The response by the law enforcement agencies, amazing. I mean, the fact that all those people can come together and can bring this to a close if it is indeed closed. And by all indications, I mean, you're looking at a scene right now that does not appear to be near as hectic as it was earlier.
That's
and
a
you
good
know,
description.
because you were looking at live images, and those folks were all business as they were trying to get their job done. And now it appears to be perhaps calmed down a bit. That's what we can hope, and that perhaps this is over with.
Absolutely, and we hope for a good resolution to this. Of course, unfortunately, we did confirm that there were many people involved in this, 11 total.
Right.
One person has lost their life, and others are in the hospital right now being treated. So a lot of things are happening right now. We can go back to the scene and show you what Jay's talking about that scene not being as chaotic. If you were with us at the beginning of this broadcast, this was almost 3 hours ago, 2.5 total. At 9 o'clock, this scene was unfolding rapidly. We were at Market Street, which is just south of Interstate. Not the store, the street itself. There goes one of the armored units.
Vehicles are starting to pull away, and that's
Which is
yeah.
interesting. This could signify something. It may not. We're still trying to figure out as well. We were located south of the tracks there on Industrial and Market Street. There was a lot going on. Multiple agencies were still responding actively, including Odessa Police, Midland Police. And we're still trying to track down where this was happening.
Yeah, a lot of misinformation early on because you don't know what's going on.
No,
Right,
we were
right.
still trying to figure out where this exactly was going on, try to get out the best information we had at the time. And in the meantime, this has now evolved to where at least we can say this has been contained, according to Mayor Lori Blong. Still trying to clarify some of the details around that. We do know 4600 block of West Wall is where this is all centered out, specifically staying away from the Faskin area. Eisenhower, this is where they're staged at. You're looking here, Eisenhower and Business 20.
And again, you see more vehicles who are pulling out, getting out of that way, getting off the scene. And so perhaps that means we're getting closer to closure on this. The sad part of that, you're seeing that there on your screen. That lower tells you everything. 11 victims, at least one dead. Active shooter scene secure in Midland. That's according to Mayor Lori Blong. No details yet. We don't know any other situation on the shooter or anything like that, but we, again, from her, contained and the scene secure. So heartbreaking news for the city of Midland, not something that you want to deal with. Matthew and I sadly have dealt with this before back in 2019, and here we are again. It's not something you really wanted to do, but here we are.
Absolutely. I mean, it's part of, this covering this story is very intense and very tough, of course, but let's get an update now, a scene update from this very location. First Alert 7's Lauren Mudd, who's been operating this camera as well, trying to gather information. Let's hear from her this morning. Lauren, what do you know?
Yeah, guys, we're here. We've been kind of here at this scene since this all began at 8:15 this morning. I'm starting to see officers clear the area. We just saw 2 big armored SWAT trucks leave the area. They've all kind of headed down that direction. We don't know what that means. We don't know if that means that there is still something going on. Usually when they're clearing the scene, it means that something has happened. We have no details on that quite yet, but I can tell you that they are starting to clear the scene. OPD officers, you can see kind of moving down that way. Again, we saw 2 armored vehicles. We saw them pull in at 8 o'clock this morning. We are seeing them leave the scene right now. We don't know what that means for the investigation, but I'll step away here just so you guys can see and try and zoom in a little bit there on those officers as they continue to kind of try and clear the area. If you were with us earlier in that shot, you could see there were dozens more officers there. There's some ECSO officers leaving the area. I'll try and pan the camera so you guys can see as they kind of continue to head out. We don't know, again, what that means for the investigation, but the officers are clearing the area. There's another SWAT vehicle kind of just behind there. You guys can, let me turn it so you guys can see there a little bit. Another SWAT vehicle. Again, they're all kind of starting to clear the area now. We've heard some officers say that they're getting ready to head out. Again, this is Business 20, Wall Street, Industrial, that whole area where everything has taken place, where the whole investigation has gone on. We've been out here since 8 o'clock this morning as a lot of these officers started to arrive on scene, but we are seeing them start to kind of fade out and leave the area. We'll continue to keep you guys updated as we learn more about what this means for the situation. We do not know if that means that it's over or if it just means that they're moving and making way for some other officers or anything else, but we do know at this time there are several officers who are clearing the area. I'm going to go ahead and send it back to you guys in studio. We'll keep this shot up for y'all as we continue to learn a little bit more about what's going on here in Midland.
All right, Lauren, thanks very much. We're also wanting to share some video that was sent to us. This is of gunfire that was taking place with police, and we are learning this was by the Tall City Veterinary Hospital, which if you look it up, it says it is permanently closed, so that could be a vacant building. This could be where this situation is. You and I have heard this, but we don't know this for sure, but this was where this was taken. So let's take a listen to this.
That's smaller than what he was shooting a while ago. That's a different vehicle. That's a different gun.
Gunshot. You can see the officers shooting from behind those vehicles. This was in the area of the Tull City Veterinary Hospital, which, as we have learned, is permanently closed. And so that abandoned building may have been where this person was. We don't know that for sure, but that's where this video was taken. And there you see those law enforcement, and you heard the number of shots that were fired.
Tons of shots. Unfortunately, you can see those police officers taking cover as this situation was unfolding. This was seems to be a little while ago, a few hours ago possibly. We're not exactly sure when this was shot, when it came from, of course, but we want to share this imagery with you to give you an update of how intense the situation is and why the perimeter on this is so large with these kind of things happening like this. So, of course, stay back, of course, if you can. Again, this is happening around the Tull City Veterinary Clinic area. This to give you an idea of where this is happening. You said it says permanently closed, which is interesting to note for sure.
Yeah.
And again, they say they have this contained. 11 victims, at least one dead is what we know right now. This is new video we got in earlier. You hear shots being fired one after another. And going back now live out to the scene. There's
can we show this live footage from the scene? Because you can see all these vehicles are beginning to pull away now. There's a SWAT vehicle. There's a Sheriff's Department car. You can see it appears that folks are beginning to clear out of this area, hopefully getting this back open. Also, somebody I noticed had posted, when did Wall Street become Business 20? Well, it's always been Business 20 from Loop 250 to Eisenhower.
Yes.
And then from Eisenhower, it becomes West Wall. So for those of you who don't, it is interesting. And that is confusing. A good question for people to ask. But I noticed that on Facebook, someone was asking, when did that change? So just so you know, Loop 250 is from, or I should say Business 20 from Loop 250 to Eisenhower. Then Eisenhower in is West Wall Street. So that's where that confusion is.
Yes, and so we try to say both so you know where we are talking about. 4600 block West Wall. If you Google that on Google Maps, it'll show you where we're talking about specifically. And so please keep that in mind as these agencies do appear to be, some of them possibly clearing the scene this morning. And we're continuing to follow this developing situation as it unfolds right in front of us live on camera. We'll hear from some of our crew here in just a moment. Want to get some of them ready to go to let us know what they're hearing, what they're seeing out there. Lauren Munt has been here at this scene. Isabella Garriga has been at the hospital tracking that unfolding situation as well. We also have another update from the city of Midland. Breaking news here from the city of Midland.
Breaking news. Here we go.
The active shooter incident has been resolved. The suspect is confirmed dead. Wow. He is deceased. The scene remains active. It has not been cleared. Road closures are expected to remain in place for the foreseeable future as the investigation continues. Please avoid the area and monitor City of Midland departments for updates, of course. But again, the shooter is dead.
Confirmed deceased, and the incident has been resolved. That's good news to hear in that area, and we're noticing the more as we look at our image from that actual scene is that more law enforcement vehicles are beginning to pull away. So certainly good news. I anticipate that it'll probably be blocked off closer to where all this took place so they can do more investigation. But again, the big news, that was 1 minute ago, the city of Midland posted that the active shooter incident has been resolved.
Absolutely. Okay. Again, yes, active shooter incident resolved. Suspect confirmed deceased. Yep. The scene remains active. We can see that, Jay, like you just said. It is still ongoing right now. But this doesn't change the fact, unfortunately, 9 people, of course, involved in this total. 11 total.
11 total.
11 total, 9 in the hospital, 4 in surgery, 5 stable. So, again, a lot of people affected by this, lives, of course, touched by this tragedy. But the shooting suspect is dead now this morning, according to the city of Midland.
All right. We, again, have had crews all over. We've had them here on the scene, had them at the hospital. We've been trying to get you all the information we can. And keep in mind, this being an active situation, it's hard to get all of the information, but I think our crews got us what we could. You heard all the video that we received, hearing the shots that were fired. You never want to hear that sound. Sadly, we had to today, and sadly, it affected a lot of people, and this is something we won't forget. And so, tough way on a Friday, but good news that, again, it appears that this is wrapping up. Again, active shooter situation has ended. It's Mayor Lori Blong also posting the same thing, saying the active investigation continues. So you probably will see some road closures. So keep that in mind as you are working in this area And if you're out driving around, you want to stay out of their way and let them do their job as they continue to investigate exactly what's happened today.
Absolutely. An absolute tragedy that has unfolded across our community again this morning. It's been years, of course. We haven't forgotten the last one. It's still fresh, especially in the summer months. And here we are again. We are going to be, of course, praying and keeping those victims in our thoughts, prayers, the entire community. If you have it in your heart to donate, Mayor Lori Bong put it best. Reach out to the United Way to do so.
She said that agency is set up to handle those kind of situations. I know she said a lot of people ask about blood donations.
Definitely.
That always comes up, and there will be a need for that, I'm sure, at some point. So she urged that you just wait until that call is needed because you don't want to flood the blood bank and start doing that if it's not needed. And so we will, of course, pass that information along as we get that. But everybody wants to help in situations like this. We understand that. And so we urge you to just check the social media and look for the City of Midland, see those updates, and then follow their instructions.
And we so do appreciate the City of Midland, Midland Police, all of the agencies, DPS,
yes.
reaching out, posting information while this is going on, knowing that we're trying to also be the middleman here and get the information out to our viewers who are watching here on First Alert 7, our news app, anywhere across, wherever you're watching. We do appreciate their time helping us out across the way, and city leaders for taking time to also speak directly to the be at home, essentially.
And those law enforcement agencies, yeoman's work, and it's not a job that everybody wants to do. And in situations like this, this is when they're at their toughest, and it's going to affect them as well. So keep that in mind that this situation they had to be involved in as well. But again, the good news coming from the City of Midland that this scene has been wrapped up and that the shooting victim is deceased.
That is the latest information we have for you. 11:42 now on this Friday, June 12th. An interesting morning, not to say the very least. Of course, we want to remind you, of course, that scene, while it may have come to a conclusion, it certainly will not be clear anytime the rest of the day, possibly for quite some time. Business 20/Wall Street from Loop 250 all the way up to Eisenhower and up to Midland Drive is completely shut down, and it will remain to be so for quite some time. And again, the area of Faskin, the side roads, there is a service road to the side of this Business 20 area here, so keep that in mind too. If you would have a commute that takes you through there, you may work in this area, and so if you're wondering about this, this is going on. But they've now isolated and taken out that suspect that has injured all of these people and killed one so far.
And keep those victims in your thoughts and prayers.
Absolutely.
A lot of folks that are in surgery right now. You have some folks that are stable. We've had one person who died at the scene. We have told you that the shooter was shot and killed. So that as we wrap this up, keep those folks in your thoughts and prayers. And these law enforcement agencies, because they had to deal with this and deal with this situation. And active gunfire is not something any of them want to be involved in. And here they were today having to deal with
Unfortunately so. And we got an update earlier from Isabella Garriga. We saw way earlier on in our broadcast, a vehicle that appears to have possibly been involved in this window shot out. I believe we have that video. We want to see that. Look at this truck here. Now possibly taken away from evidence. It's no longer in front of the Emergency Department of Midland Memorial, and the person here in the blue involved in this as well, seems like.
Yeah, he, I believe, told her that he had been shot in the arm. He had some bandages on him, but he was up and walking and was walking out, and he had said to her at that point he had been released from the hospital. So he could have been one of those victims that was not shot, obviously, and that's not what you want, but was able to walk out. Again, there are 4 people in surgery. That was an update earlier. 5 people are stable. I have not seen an update from the hospital on this as to, let's see, here's an update as of 11:17. Midland Memorial Hospital no longer on lockdown. That was at 11:17. Here we are at 11:45. So about 30 minutes ago, they had lifted the lockdown on the hospital, obviously getting word that this has been wrapped up. So that is good. Here's some information about the Unification Center. This is from the, this is from Midland County. In response to this morning's active shooter incident, Midland County with the community organization Actives in Disaster, they call it COAD, has coordinated with Community Unification Center at Midland Memorial. This gives information out. You could look at that probably on Facebook. That's probably been posted as well on Midland County's page, so you can get that information.
Absolutely. Again, we want to recap, reiterate, start from the beginning. This all started to unfold now 3 hours ago. About 8:45, we first started getting reports of a heavy police presence early this morning in the southwest part of Midland. Business 20 Wall Street there, past the loop, up to Eisenhower. Tried to nail down a location. That proved itself to be very difficult, of course, with a lot of different information coming our way.
Sure.
We had what we had, but of course we were able to correct that a bit more. Now we really kind of have an idea of what we're talking about, especially with a lot of the video, the shocking video, hearing the gunshots being strewn about and towards our police officers there who were taking cover behind a police vehicle. We have that video. In the meantime, of course, if we can bring that up, can we bring up that video one more time to show you that we just got not long ago, showing those shots and you can hear those shots being fired from the suspect, who eventually police were able to go in and take out, and no longer a threat to public safety. Take a listen.
That's smaller than what he was shooting a while ago. That's a different vehicle. That's a different gun.
Meaning this threat was outside in the public, which is why they had to close off such a large swath of the area. The public was, of course, in this area here. I mean, it's very dangerous what happened. And unfortunately, multiple people were injured and shot because of this. One, of course, losing their life so far. We had an update earlier from the hospital where all this was unfolding. A lot of those victims were taken there.
Yeah, in fact, speaking of the hospital, Isabella Garriga has been there doing coverage for us today. And Isabella, we appreciate you being there and getting that coverage for us. You believe you have an update right now. What do you have?
All right, hi there, Jay and Matthew. We are here at the Midland Memorial Hospital right here outside the entrance. We're as close as we can be at this moment. We've noticed that a lot of the police presence has cleared out. Luke is going to show you the scene a little bit. They're still not allowing people into the hospital. This is still the location that you want to be at if you are worried about a loved one. As I'm sure you guys have informed, and we were told as well, the active shooter is possibly deceased at this moment. A lot of the police presence, again, it's cleared out here, and we've had a helicopter leave the pad that they landed on about 30 minutes ago, so less presence here. We've had some tow trucks that I believe were vehicles shot by the person in custody now. Those have been taken off the Midland Memorial's campus now, and gunshot wounds there. We had a gentleman come up to us. He told us that he was shot in the arm. I have video of that. Maybe you've been showing that. But that's about all that we have right now. We don't have any more information. Again, the last thing we have is 4 people are in the operating room, 5 people are stable. Still more information to come. Keep it right here, and we'll keep you up to date. Back to you guys in the studio.
She's been throughout the morning. Thanks to her and thanks to all of our crews that have been out there doing this. Lauren Munt, one of the others who's been out on the scene throughout the morning. She was one of the first ones on the scene, in fact, as this all began to unfold. And what a scary situation to have to drive into and then set up and do your coverage.
Absolutely. And luckily, our police officers were there to help direct her to a safer spot and trying to help provide what information they could at the time. She's over there. She's been keeping an eye on the scene. We're about to get her up, ready to go here in just a moment. And let's go ahead and go now to First Alert 7's Lauren Munt with the latest as this situation has appeared to have come to a conclusion with the suspect now dead. Lauren, what do you see?
Yeah, Matthew, we've been here since about 8 o'clock this morning. I think it was around 8:30 when we arrived to the scene. And we've seen a lot of officers from all across several different counties coming in and out of this area. We've seen Exeter County, we've seen ECISD police over here, we've seen Texas Department of Public Safety. We have seen everyone kind of coming through this area, SWAT, all of that, all ending up right here behind me. They have all started to kind of clear away in the last 10 minutes since we learned that the shooter was confirmed dead from Mayor Lori Blanc. We've learned that, and we've seen all of these officers kind of start to clear the scene. That was our first indication that something had happened and that this terrible situation had started to come to an end. Throughout the course of the morning, we've again seen several officers. We've spoken to a lot of people in the area who were at businesses in the area, who were just around when it happened, and they all said that they heard several several shots fired and that it was a completely terrifying situation for them to be hearing. Many businesses have gone on lockdown and many have shut down for the rest of the day along here on Business 20 and Industrial. Like I said, we got here around 8:30 and all of those roads were blocked off. No one was able to get in and out of anywhere here on Business 20, Wall Street, Industrial. All of those roads were completely shut down. They've started to clear up a little bit. We still have an officer right here kind of blocking this area down that way, of course, where most of the investigation was taking place. But we are starting to see just on the other side there, parts of that Loop 250 area start to open up and clear up as more officers continue to leave the scene. We'll start to see more areas of Midland start to open back up. But just a truly horrific situation that we saw unfold here in Midland, something we never want to report on, but we of course want to be keeping you guys up to date on all of the information going on and keep you guys with the latest. I'm going to go ahead and send it back to you guys in studio as we look to talk to some more people in the area about their thoughts and what they went through when that situation took place.
All right, Lauren, thanks very much. Great job, by the way, by Lauren getting out there first thing this morning, getting this coverage, so we appreciate that. Yeah. I do want to mention this, we've been looking through Facebook, and also want to mention we have learned City of Midland will be doing an update coming up at the top of the hour at noon in about 10 minutes or so, and so we will bring you that coverage. We'll bring it to you live during our noon newscast, because we will continue with coverage here through our noon broadcast. Also saw this on Facebook, Senior Life Midland announcing a closure of the meal deliveries. They will not take place today, and they were doing that just to keep the drivers safe and people out and about. They went on to say, we apologize for any inconvenience this may cause and appreciate your understanding as we prioritize safety and well-being of everyone. An additional meal had been delivered in advance for our clients, so good to know that they're at least taken care of. They were reaching out asking, should they close, should they not? They made that decision to not deliver those meals and not put anyone in any harm's way.
No, because I mean, that's of course the last thing you want to do in this situation. We were asking you to do the same thing, is stay away from this area, and we still ask you to do that because these folks are now trying to investigate. These agencies are investigating what exactly happened here and put all the pieces together. I'm sure there's many pieces in a situation like this, like we saw in Odessa. I think back to those crime scenes scattered across the city.
Yeah, that was a bigger scene.
That was a huge scene.
Yeah,
and this one evolving, because it was interesting hearing Mayor Lori Blanc talk about it starting in the southeast part of Midland to southwest. What does that mean? We may be finding out here in the next few minutes or so, and we will find out over the coming days and weeks as we learn more about the situation. Even the suspect himself, we still have yet to have an identification on he or she, whoever this suspect is, that is now dead. Midland Police and along with multiple agencies were able to neutralize this suspect. Here is a look at some new video from the scene of how active this was here. We saw some other video of shooting, but this is immediately following all of this.
Yeah, this is similar of what we saw earlier from that same situation. So this is over near what used to be the Tall City Veterinary Clinic, and we have learned that that is actually where this appears to have taken place. And so, again, a lot of confusion from where this was all happening.
Truly, yes.
And so once you finally realized where this was, we certainly wanted to get that on to you and let you know where it was. There you can see more officers running toward the scene. So this was during the active part of the scene. Again, we now know that from the City of Midland that this has been wrapped up and the shooting suspect is confirmed dead.
Yes, so this is now, of course, wrapped up in way of him being killed, but you can see MRAP armored vehicle being brought in because this suspect, of course, was shooting at police officers there responding, and they had to take these kind of measures to be able to neutralize this suspect who is posing a grave threat, a grave danger to not only our officers, but the general public at large.
Okay. We, of course, are awaiting. City of Midland wants to do an update, we have been told, at the noon hour. So we will join you with that as it comes up. And, of course, it may take them a bit to get into place, but we will certainly recap what we can on this and then get you that update from Mayor Lori Blanc. She has been posting on Facebook and keeping us up to date. We read you that post that she posted a little bit ago. I guess it's been more like 15 minutes or so ago, getting us information on that. And so we appreciate her keeping everybody up to date on that. And there you can see it was quite an active scene. And again, kudos to those law enforcement agencies. Those guys get out there and they work hard day after day, and then you have to deal with a situation like this. And glad that they were all safe. Glad to hear that, again, this has been wrapped up and come to a conclusion, and we can hopefully move forward, certainly remembering those folks who have been shot. They are in our thoughts and prayers, and one deceased that we have learned out of these 11 that were shot today.
Absolutely. And now the suspect as well included in that. And as of 11:17, Midland Memorial Hospital clarifying the lockdown is no longer in place at Midland Memorial Hospital. They are getting to a state of back to normal as they do their best with, of course, the patients that are involved in this. Multiple victims involved being treated there at Midland Memorial Hospital. And just to recap, I mean, we have, again, 11 known victims, 1 dead, the suspect now dead. They did point out during this last press conference, which that was about 10:45, a little over an hour ago, blood bank not needed, in immediate need of blood. But if you would like to donate in any way, especially for the families in the wake of this, you can go to the United Way. They will support you and help you and guide you through that process of making donations. The Family Reunification Center at Midland Memorial Hospital has been set up. It's in the cafeteria. You're able to go to MMH directly, go through the main entrance, and staff will guide you to the Reunification Center. If you have family that possibly was involved in this, you're able to go there to get questions answered directly. And we're going to have an update in about 5 minutes or so as we approach First Alert 7 News at noon. We will continue to be here for you and stay on the air through the rest of this half hour, of course, as we learn more from the city of Midland, the council member, the leaders, of course, the mayor of Midland posting continuously this morning, and we do appreciate that, and we're expected to hear even more in the next 4 minutes or so.
And I think that video you just saw shows you also how chaotic it was and how these law enforcement officers are having to rely on each other to get protected, to keep each other protected, to get into the situation to have to return fire. You don't want to do that. You don't want to have to use that training that you've received, but good to know that in using that today, they were able to get this situation under control.
And I think the camaraderie of the departments, Midland and Odessa, I mean, I think back to the 2019 incident, of course, where Midland police were directly involved with this altercation that ended at Synergy, of course, in that incident. Today, Odessa police coming to Midland and the other way around
helping
this
out,
time and helping out and being there. And multiple agencies, not just Odessa and Midland Police. We're talking Ector County Sheriff's Office, Midland County, DPS, the Lubbock County Sheriff's Office as well, all of them coming through. And I think back to former Midland Police Chief Seth Herman, who is in Lubbock and knows this area so well, of course, and of course providing resources to help with Lubbock Police. So there's a lot going on, a lot of incidents, a lot of information coming. It's a multifaceted situation. We've been providing you the best information we possibly can. We check and verify what we have, pass it along to you, and we're going to continue to do so and directly hear from officials within the next 2 to 3 minutes out there. We're getting our crews in place again to provide another round of updates from not only Isabella Grieg at the hospital. Lauren Munt is over still at the scene as that's continuing to evolve now as this situation has now come to a close. And so just want to continue to provide latest updates as we have them.
I want to mention this from the Odessa American. Our news partners are posting update. Law enforcement sources say gunman is same man Midland PD had been seeking after he shot at a Midland Police Department officer.
Big update there.
Yeah, big update there.
Something we've been hearing,
right,
of course, but it seems like...
we didn't know if this was the same person.
Correct, and it seems to be that possibly this is the same person we have just been talking about since Wednesday night when that incident unfolded there in Midland. Police being shot at with a rifle, very similar to the instances we saw not only just hours ago.
And that may be the information that is released when this news conference comes up. Again, we are awaiting the city of Midland with an update. They promised to do that around the noon hour, so we will be flexible with that and bring that to you as we get it. Here it is at 11:57. It has been a long morning. This all started about 8:03 this morning, continued throughout the morning hours, and then now wrapping up. And we are, of course, awaiting an update from the city of Midland to see what other information they will let us know about when that comes up here in the next couple of minutes or so.
Absolutely. We're approaching also our new newscast as well. We will continue right on into that with latest information from our crews. Let's go back and recap some of the video that we have again. If we can bring up some of those elements, let's get back to some of the visuals we have from the scene a little bit earlier. Let's take a look at those. And of course, some of them showing the police officers having to take cover because this is all unfolding at that time. This was a bit earlier in the morning whenever the scene was unfolding. Look at those officers having to take cover from active fire.
Yeah, behind their vehicle. And this just shows, again, the training they receive. They all know how to do this, but they don't want to do it.
No.
You know, you don't ever want to use this kind of training that you receive or be put into the situation to have to use it. But there they were, and by all intents and purposes, that was what helped to get this situation under control. So we can't thank those law enforcement agencies enough, and the support they got from not just here in Midland, but all across West Texas.
And this possibly for a lot of those officers could be the second time that they've had to deal with this kind of situation in their careers, when some go their entire careers without seeing something like this unfold. And it's just an absolute tragedy what we're seeing this morning. in Midland and across our area. Our hearts, of course, going out to those family, friends who are all affected by this, by proxy, of course, but also directly as well. And so, of course, we're going to continue our coverage now. It is now getting to 12 o'clock here on this Friday, June 12th. We want to reiterate and start off the top of what we know here at 12 o'clock today.
All right, we are continuing our live coverage. Matthew's been on the desk since very early this morning. I joined him a little later, and of course our crews have been out there since very early this morning on this situation that we now know is wrapped up. It is. We've been told that the suspect was shot and killed, and we also received information from our news partners that confirming that it was the same person. And we may learn more about that. We are awaiting a news conference from the city of Midland. They anticipated to do that about the noon hour, so we will bring that to you live as that happens.
And again, to recap, 11 victims in this mass shooting incident that took place in Midland early this morning. One person killed out of those victims, and the suspect now dead. That is coming from the latest information from Midland Police, as well as Midland Mayor Lori Blong. They gave us an update a bit earlier about where this exactly was happening. On Wall Street there near Eisenhower, that is where this situation has been unfolding. Multiple agencies descending upon this area as those shots were ringing out. Officers taking cover behind patrol vehicles. Some of those videos you saw a bit earlier, and we'll bring them to you in just a moment. In the meantime, though, we have team coverage. Of course, we have coverage from Isabella Garriga at Midland Memorial Hospital.
Right.
Lauren Munt over at the scene itself, seeing everything unfold there. And luckily, we are seeing the scene calm down a bit more as this suspect has now been neutralized.
We also know that there are a number of people still in the hospital. 4 were in surgery at one time, and 5 others were listed as stable. So that certainly is news that we'd like to hear. We hope that those surgeries go well. Our thoughts and prayers certainly with all these victims as they deal with this. And this is something they won't forget, and they'll have to deal with this tragedy for a long time. So think about them in your thoughts and prayers too.
Absolutely. We're keeping all of them in our thoughts and prayers. There's a family reunification center located within Midland Memorial Hospital. They have set that up early, very early on in this situation. It is located within the hospital building, the main campus. You're able to go down to the hospital if you're a family of possibly one of the victims and be reunified with information. The hospital staff will be able to help you there as well. But again, for those asking about blood, this came up, I remember last time, blood being a huge thing. This time they said not an immediate need. They'll have further updates and information that could change.
If they need it.
If they need it, they will let us know, and we'll pass it along to you directly. In the meantime, though, donations should go to the United Way of Midland.
Right, right. And of course, everybody wants to help in a time of need like this, and we certainly understand that. And so just follow those instructions. That'll help make things better. We'll also, Lauren Munn out on the scene, we'll get to her here in a little bit. You can see I'm looking at an image of it off screen here, and it's a lot clearer than it was before. So we'll join her here at some point as well as we continue with that coverage. We are awaiting the city of Midland. They are promising an update here. We are in the noon hour right now at 12:02, and we will continue our coverage throughout the noon. And then, of course, we'll continue to follow this throughout the day today.
Yes, it does not stop here.
No.
The scene is still very active out there along Eisenhower and Business 20 out there, Wall Street over in Midland. Let's go ahead and begin our team coverage now with First Alert 7's Lauren Munt. Like you said, she has been out there all morning long and joins us now from the scene with the latest. Lauren?
First heard reports of those shots being fired. We were on the other side of the tracks when that happened. That's when we spoke to several business owners who said that they heard the shooting happen. They said it was really, really loud. Several shots fired in the area. We've been told that the shooter is confirmed dead, as you guys well know. When we found that out, we saw all of the officers start to clear the area behind me. It's kind of cleared up a lot now, but we were also told to move farther back as they work to get new officers in to complete that investigation. Obviously, as we see some of those CSI members start to get here, they're wanting to create some more space for them to do their investigation. So they've moved us farther back. If you were with us earlier, you kind of saw that we were much closer to the scene and much closer to all of those officers investigating as all of this went down. But we have moved back just a little bit to give them a little bit more room to continue their investigation. Sorry, there's the train passing through here. It's been really loud over in this area. I'm going to go ahead and send it back to you guys in the studio as we look to learn more about this developing situation.
All right, never fails when you go to a live there, a train comes by.
Unfortunately, so it came by a bit earlier as well. And it gives good location of where this is going on the north side of the tracks here along Business 20 there. That's where all of this police presence has been and where that suspect was neutralized a little bit earlier.
All right, we're going to go now to Midland Memorial Hospital. As First Alert 7's Isabella Griga has been there throughout the morning. She joins us now with an update from there. Isabella?
All right, as of 11:17 a.m., Midland Memorial is no longer on lockdown anymore. People are allowed back in the hospital. We're here at the closest that we can be to the hospital at this moment. People are now able to go check if they're worried about their loved ones. That is where you go to for that information. And as of now, we've had a lot of that police presence clear out. The helicopters have left the scene. We've had a few cars more police cars come in through the entrance and stay there. But as of now, that's about all we have. We had those tow trucks leave, 2 vehicles that were shot. Were taken here to the hospital, I think, with people in them, and then those people were treated, and those vehicles have left at this point. But that's all the information we have at this moment. We will keep you up to date as we learn more. Thank you, and back to you guys.
Well, thanks for your coverage there as well. She's been there where a lot of those victims came in. We can recap those numbers too if you'd like to. We are awaiting the City of Midland and Mayor Lori Blong. Some of the council members are already in the chambers, but they are waiting on the mayor before they get started.
Absolutely. We're talking here 11 victims, like we talked about, 1 dead at the scene. Right. So, of course, that is still very active as well. And multiple in the hospital, some in stable condition, what we know.
Yeah, we've had 4 in surgery at one point. We don't know. There has not been an update on whether they are still in surgery, and we had 5 that were stable. We did see the one person that Isabella talked to in the parking lot that said he was shot in the arm. His vehicle had windows shot out. So we anticipate or think that he is one of those victims, but he was being released, so he was not seriously injured. But again, there are some still in the hospital, and there are some that are still in surgery that we are aware of, and 1 confirmed dead.
Okay, and we're awaiting a news conference from Mayor Lori Blong and the city leaders there once again in council chambers with the latest information. But to reiterate again, the active shooter has been killed after being holed up in a standoff situation there along Wall Street in Midland Business 20 earlier this morning. We learned that, about 40 minutes ago now?
About 40, yeah.
That the suspect has been killed. Again, we're about to learn some new information, possibly from Midland Mayor Lori Blong and city leaders. And we're looking off screen, in case you're wondering. That's what we're watching to know whenever to pitch to that. And we'll be able to hear from the city leaders about what we know at this hour. Now past 12 o'clock, heading into the afternoon with that latest information, of course, that the suspect is now dead. The scene, though, very much active and will continue to be so, likely for the rest of the day into the night, possibly, as police continue their investigation. We saw earlier at the hospital, even some of that is a crime scene with that vehicle that pulled up, their windows shut out.
All right, let's go to this press conference right now.
Is everyone ready? We want to provide an update with some additional information that we've received. We can confirm that the active shooter situation is resolved and that the shooter is now deceased. We've received this information based on the confirmation of a robot and a drone footage. We are still, the law enforcement is still securing the area and making sure that there are no other concerns. We do recognize that there is going to be an ongoing shutdown of the traffic and ingress and egress of the area, and so we ask that Midlanders respect that and follow all instructions with law enforcement in the area. But we do want to confirm that the active shooter situation is resolved and the shooter is confirmed deceased. I want to follow up with some of the information that we shared in a previous press conference related to some of the things that are available in our community. We recognize that the victims and their families need support at this time, and so we want to make sure that everyone has access to the things that they need. We have the reunification, the family reunification facility at the hospital that is ongoing, and so we would ask people not to call the number that we released earlier, but rather to go straight to the hospital. There will be people that can help you there. So if you have concerns or you need support, the chapel at the hospital is the place right now where that can be provided to you. If you would like to make contributions or donations, we're funneling everything through the United Way at this time. We know that Midlanders want to reach out and respond, and so that's where we would direct you with any concerns. They're coordinating with all other nonprofits and support agencies here in our community. I want to say a huge thank you to our law enforcement. They have done extraordinary work today in pursuing this and in getting it resolved. There's a lot more work to be done, and there's a lot more strain and stress and sorrow for our community on the other side of this. So we recognize that. We're going to be continuing to work and to provide you any additional updates that we can. But I would really ask Midlanders to pray for the families of those who've been impacted, for the victims themselves, for the family of the one who is a confirmed deceased victim. We want to provide support and prayer and continued thoughts for those families of those victims. At this time, we've had continued communication with our hospitals in the region. Midland Memorial Hospital and Odessa also are treating people and continuing to help those that have been impacted. And so we don't have any additional information on identities or anything that we're able to share at this time because it is an ongoing investigation, but we want to give you the information that we can as we can. So again, the active shooter situation has been resolved and the shooter is confirmed deceased as of this afternoon. Our thoughts and our prayers are with these families, with the community of Midland, and with all of those that were involved today. Thank you so much. And we won't be taking questions at this time.
We'll stay on the press conference.
All right. We were hoping to get some questions from her. She is not taking questions after that. And so what you heard was that, again, a lot of help is going to be needed, keeping those people that have been involved in this in your thoughts and prayers. We're getting a lot of text, too, about people that were involved, and one in particular that is in surgery right now. So there are some. Hospitals said they had 4 people in surgery, that there were 5 that are stable, 1 confirmed deceased. And then, of course, we have learned that the shooting suspect was indeed killed by law enforcement. So that wraps up that scene. But now the investigation goes on as to what happened, where this all transpired. The big question we had, is this the same person from the shooting incident yesterday? And we don't know that.
We don't. And that, of course, transpired Wednesday night. That suspect at the time shot a rifle at police officers there, wanted for capital murder on a police officer. That's what we were talking about the last day or so. That was the conversation in Midland. It's now turned to this tragedy. Connected or not, we have not yet confirmed that. We're still working on that from Midland Police, as well as the mayor of Midland. We appreciate them coming out and discussing this and bringing us a bit more information. But again, that suspect from this active shooter that has injured so many people, 11 total, 1 killed, has now been shot himself to death by police. And of course, we still got a lot more to cover throughout the rest of the day, but for now, that is what we know.
I do want to mention our news partners are saying that this is the same person. That has not been confirmed from police just yet, but they got that through law enforcement agencies. So again, as we get that information, we'll pass that along.
That is the Odessa American?
Odessa
American. Okay, thank you for that. And of course, we're going to take a quick break. We've been on for a few hours now. We're going to take a quick break, come back, recap again, and also get a check of your weather forecast. It is noon here on a Friday. A lot of you are on your lunch break, of course, checking in on what is going on, but we'll get your weather forecast right after this.